This year, many of you are telling me that you are having trouble bringing clients into your business. I'm hearing again and again that entrepreneurs are struggling for clients. So, my goal today on the podcast is to give you a guide, a really simple guide with some simple strategies and tips that you can activate right now that will help to bring in more of the right clients to your business. Now, let's remember here, because we are heart centered entrepreneurs, we're not just about garnering any client that we can get our hands on. We are about bringing in the clients that we are most able to help, the ones that we get great results for. We want this to be a journey that is collaborative and is a win-win, that is authentic to both you and your client. And remember, you come from a place where your values mean a lot. So we want to be generating clients in a way that feels good. We don't want it to be salesy or pushy or manipulative. And the last thing we ever want to do in our businesses is guilt trip anybody into working with us. We want to show them how amazing we are and how you can help. And so working with you becomes the next logical step. So tell me, as I bring up this topic, the struggle to find clients, how does that hit home for you? Is it something that you're experiencing right now? If you are not alone. We know economic times are a little bit tougher. But, it's time to stop fearing it and start doing something about it, because what I'm sharing with you today are strategies that work. They are strategies that will align with your ethos and your values. It's an approach to business that comes from integrity. It comes from compassion. It comes from connection. So, my friends, get your notebook, grab a cup of tea, and let's dive on in. Now, the first point that I want to make here is I want you to have a look at your offer suite. If you're struggling for clients, have a look at the offer suite that you have. And I want you to look at it from two perspectives. The first one is from your perspective, the things that you're offering, does it sit well with you? Do they meet your core values? Are they things that you actually love to provide? Are you working in areas that you enjoy working in? Your services and your offers to reflect who you are on the deepest level, the things that you believe in. So that has to translate into the offers that you make. You cannot sell something that you are not passionate about. When you can tune into your core values, who you are, why you're doing this, and what it is you want to achieve for your clients, it actually really shines through in your offers. And your authenticity then becomes a beacon for clients. They can line up behind you and go, yes, I believe this. This is what I want. This is what I need. Now, the other side of looking at your offers is I want you to look at what the client needs from you. Time and again, when I'm working with entrepreneurs, we get into the issue of selling oranges when the client wants apples. We can think we have an amazing idea for an offer, a product, a program, a package, but that doesn't mean it is something that your ideal client actually wants. I want you to sit with that for a minute and think about your ideal client, that person that you are most able to help. What do they really need from you? What do they really want from you? And what outcome can you provide? So make sure that the offers that you have available are answering those questions. Even if your offers are one-to-one, you need to be describing what the outcome, what the result, what the transformation is. People don't book an hour of time with a service provider, a practitioner, a therapist, a coach, just for the sake of booking an hour. They're booking an hour to get an outcome. So make sure that you are stating what that outcome is. Another great thing you can do here when you're looking at your offer suite is go back to the mission statement of your business. Does it still resonate with who you are, what you do, the clients that you help? It needs to be a really clear reflection of all of those things. And if it's not, it's time for a little bit of an audit, bit of a modification. Sometimes doing this work and getting back to the core of who you are and what you do and why you do it helps you get more energy into the offers that you're putting out there so you can market them. And it's the truest reflection of who you are and how you can help. Now, number two, in this world we are in right now with AI, it is making it harder than ever to stand out for things such as value content. Value content used to be the way we built our businesses. And I think there is a great space for some of that. But what people want more than value content right now is to actually know who you are. They want to know what you stand for. They want to know what your values are. They want to know why you do this. What's your drive? What's your passion? So tip number 2 I have for you is you need to harness the power of storytelling. You need to be sharing who you are so they can see it. So it's narrated to them. What was the path that got you here? Why do you do what you do? What about your clients? What outcomes do they get? What was the pathway they took? What was their journey? What are the obstacles that you've overcome that your clients have overcome? What's the milestones that you've reached and that your clients have reached? And a really great book that you can have a look at for this is called The Business of Stories, and it's by Susan Payton. And I really recommend getting yourself a copy. It walks you through how to turn your messaging into powerful stories. And what you do know to be true is the human mind remembers a story so much more vividly than it remembers anything else. So when your marketing messages are crafted in the format of stories, you will have a much more remarkable message that is remembered by more people. For this section of harnessing the power of storytelling, again, I want you to think about the two sides of the coin. I want you to think about yourself, why you do it, what your values are, and how you can share that in marketing messages that have that storytelling ethos. Then I also want you to think about clients you've worked with who've had some profound changes after working with you. Can you craft their story, their case study, their testimonial into a narrative that you could use in your next newsletter, on your social media, on your blog? There's so many different ways you can be using those, and it cuts through so much more vividly than a service description ever could. Now, number 3, I want you to think about how you can be genuinely building a community. What people want right now is community. They want connection. They want sisterhood. So how can you, within your business and within the spaces that you're showing up and marketing your business, how can you create spaces that nurture potential clients and nurture your audience, not just as customers and not just as people who've paid, but everybody who's in your world who could potentially work with you? How can you nurture them and build more connections? How can you focus on forming some relationships? I think something that is lost in the online space particularly is that building of relationships. It's become a space that's very transactional. We speak to someone, we talk to someone when they're interested in what we're selling, and we talk to them to the point where we sell them whatever it is that they're after. We provide the service, and then off they go, and we may never speak to them again. I think what's really important is building relationships with everybody, getting known and standing in the middle of a tribe that you've created. And I think it's about nurturing those relationships beyond the transactional. Because if you are nurturing that relationship well, that will become a client that comes back again and again. If you haven't nurtured that relationship well, they will see out their transaction with you and you may never work with them again. So here, your action tip, I want you to think about things like your social media platforms. I want you to view them as interactive hubs. You've heard me say this before. Social media, it's in the name. It's supposed to be social. And it's a place where you need to get to know people. You need to start to feel like the people in your audience that are commenting on the things that you share, like you know them. So could you be posting questions, comments, things for engagement? Could you ask them what they love about their life? What's the last book you read? What's your favorite place to holiday? How can you get to know the people in your world? And perhaps you could run a series of free workshops or free webinars, maybe one a month for a few months, just to get people in your world to share what you're about and to get to know people. So think about where you can share your knowledge, how you can nurture these connections. And remember here, we're looking for connections that aren't transactional, connections without a sales pitch. Now, number 4, and this is something you've heard me say in many different ways again and again and again, we are going for soulful sales, not slimy sales. In this current market, if the way you're coming across is in any way perceived as pushy or slimy or a little bit guilt trippy, it's going to be really hard for you to sign up clients. And I know there's mentors out there in our world that are teaching you these ways, and it's not the right way. People want authentic connections right now. And so if they have any red flags raised in that pre-buy that you might not be completely, They will take their money and they will go elsewhere. They'll work with somebody else. Remember here, it's about perception. So we need to come across very confident that you know what you're talking about. You've got some great examples to share, that you know your pricing, that you're very confident and very put together. If you have any fears or reservations, they can come across in a way that's not received well by your potential new client. Remember to consider the way that you're showing up. Get to know this person beforehand. If they've filled out a form with some information, make sure you read that form before you have your discovery call. Go into your discovery call with a list of questions. Ask them, where are you now? What do you want to get to? What are your goals? Okay, what's the biggest thing you would love for me to help you with? If you could achieve one thing while we work together, what would that be? These are all great questions that show you care about the outcomes of this new client and that you really want to help. So my action tip here is, if you're not doing discovery calls, it's a great time to add them back in. But remember, these are discovery calls. They're not free mini consultations. They're not free mini mentoring sessions. It's a discovery call to see if your service, your program, your package, whatever you offer would be a great fit for that client. Remember too, for an authentic sales call, we need to also say no if that person's not the right fit. The point here is not squeezing a square peg into a round hole. It's about checking what you have in your offer suite against what that client needs and being really honest and letting them know that, yes, I have that, or no, I don't. And if you don't have it, offer them resource information or referrals that can give them the solution that they're looking for. Next up, number 5, I want you to be looking at your online presence. I want you to be looking at it with a fresh set of eyes, and you need to optimize it. Right now, you need people flowing to your website. You actually don't need people on your social media channels. You need people on your website because that's where they're going to buy, that's where they're going to book. So you need to be optimizing your website for traffic flow and using whatever channels you can to direct traffic to your website. I want you to first of all look at your website and look at it with fresh eyes. Start on your homepage, read through it. If you were a brand new to your website and you read that homepage, would it make you want to learn more? Does it answer the questions you might have? Does it inspire you to book a call and become a new client? If it's not doing any of those things, it's worth a redo. It's worth having a look at how you can tweak it and how you can change it to make sure it is speaking directly to the hearts of those people who have come to check you out. What you need to do here is address their needs, their aspirations, speak to what they want, show that you understand the issue that they have and that you know how to fix it. You know how to help them through whatever their challenge is. I want you to conduct what I call a fresh eyes audit of your online presence. Look at your website, look at your social media profiles, look at your Google My Business. Are you using the language and the keywords that your ideal client would be using to find you? A lot of time, entrepreneurs are using words that are very distinct to their own industry, but not words that somebody would be typing in to Google if they were trying to find you. So think about whatever it is that you offer, whatever service you offer. What would your client type in to find you? Put those into your keywords. Very, very important. And put those words into your text, particularly in the first paragraph and the last paragraph of your homepage. It's a great idea too with your website to keep it updated. The search engines love you to update your content once a week, but also trends change, what people want change over time. So it's important that you're updating the messaging on your website. So you're literally reflecting the conversations that you're having with potential clients, the things that they're thinking. As new messaging comes to mind, hop on your website and update things. The next point I have for you is client testimonials. And there's a way to use these that is really authentic, that gets a lot of credibility for you. Now, nothing speaks louder than a satisfied client who's left an amazing testimonial. These endorsements are absolutely precious, and you need to share them in a way that is honest and transparent. Now, I'm sure we've all seen it done before where people have whittled down a testimonial to just pull out the really good bits or make it sound better than it is. And I know that some testimonials are too big for a website and we do need to cut them down. But do it in a way that is honest, and do it in a way that still maintains the essence of the message that that person wrote for you. I think it's really important to leave sentences in their whole form. Even if you have to cut something back, cut out entire sentences, cut out paragraphs, but never ever cut down those sentences that people have written for you, because otherwise you'll lose the context. Testimonials can be used in a number of different ways on your website, in your marketing, in your social media marketing. You could have a case study page or a happy clients page on your website. Find ways to weave them into your marketing. And remember here too, anyone that's written a Google review for you can be used in other ways. You can take a screenshot of that Google review and put that on your website or onto social media. You could also write what that person has written in their review word for word, and you could share that on a slider on your website, on your homepage. There's so many different ways to be sharing these, and I think it's important to build that into your marketing process of how you're going to collect testimonials and how you're going to use them. The last tip, I suppose you want to call it, that I want to end with today, I want to talk about competition. A slower economy where we start to get a little bit worried about our client numbers and a little bit worried about the income that's coming through the door, we can accidentally fall into a scarcity mindset, a financial scarcity mindset. And that makes us view everybody else as our competition. I absolutely believe you have competition. You do. But what I teach as far as marketing goes is about standing out authentically as yourself. So you're not just competing with everybody else based on your qualification, your title, or your experience. You're standing out as your own personal brand. And that goes a long way to winning new clients and winning the right clients, because somebody who resonates with you might not resonate with the next person. So I think I'd really love to see this competitive edge bear back a little bit right now. I don't think it's warranted. I'm seeing this in a lot of different spaces online. People complaining that their niche is getting stolen or their hero statement's getting stolen. I know things like that happen. I get it. And it happens to me every single week. Someone's ripping off something from my content or my courses. Yep, we have legal things in process. Absolutely. But it still happens. And we just have to start to look at it with fresh eyes and go, right, that's not going to bother me. I'm not going to be bogged down, because while you are bogged down, worried about everyone else and the competitiveness of it, and are they getting clients that I should have, you're not focused on generating your own leads and generating your own clients. The energy that you are wasting worrying about your competition is much better spent on your own marketing and your own lead gen. So today, as I wrap up, I just want to remind you of those few things that I've mentioned that can start to bring some more clients into your world right now. The first one of those was relook at your offer suite and make sure that your offer suite aligns with you and aligns with your ideal clients and what they need to receive from you. What outcomes are they looking for? So make sure that's right. Number 2, change your marketing messages around a little bit and start to harness that power of storytelling. The value posts, the 3 tips for this, the 5 tips for that, they're not getting traction anymore because AI can create those in a millisecond. They don't carry the weight that they used to, because unfortunately our skills and our education that used to shine through those just doesn't anymore. But what AI cannot duplicate is you. So harness the power of storytelling in your marketing. Find ways to connect through your messaging. Tell stories about what you do and why you do it, what your journey has been, what your client journeys are. Build storytelling into what you do. And I recommended a book as well, The Business of Stories. So you can get that on Amazon. Not an affiliate. I just love the book. I think it was a great book. Now, the next one I suggested was find ways to build this genuine community into your marketing. Find ways and spaces where you can be nurturing potential people and getting to know them. Form those relationships. Let's move beyond the transactional mindset and let's start to build a tribe and a community of people who are like-minded, who want what you have to offer, and who you can help. So in that, remember, social media, friends, was meant to be social. When it comes to sales and our sales conversations, our discovery calls, things like that, I know you guys aren't pushy, you're not slimy, you're not salesy. But when we're a bit financially worried, we've got financial scarcity creeping in, we can start to change the tone by accident of the way we're having these calls. So make sure you're prepared, make sure you're professional, make sure you have your list of questions that you're ready to ask your new potential client, and Just be there to help, be in service. And if you go into your sales calls with the intention of being of service, you will not have any potential for coming across pushy or slimy. The next tip I had for you was about optimizing your online presence. So I want you to go back and look at your website with fresh eyes, pretend you're someone looking at it for the first time. How does it read? Is it saying the right things? Have a look at all the other spaces you show up online, all your other profiles. Are they working? Are they saying the right things? Are they up to date? And in this current market, I would absolutely recommend starting to utilize your Google My Business profile. Whether you are a physical business or you're an online business, you can have a Google My Business profile, and they're working really well right now. And then the last thing there to remember is client testimonials. Even if you've only got a handful, it's still fantastic. So make sure you're using those and incorporating those into your marketing on a regular basis. So as you're moving through these next couple of months and navigating this economic times, I can tell you one thing to be true. These times never last. If you start getting consistent with your marketing, consistent with your efforts, you will see a pickup in your clients anywhere between 3 to 6 weeks. It will start to happen, and you should be back on top of your books in about 12 weeks. The key is to stay consistent. If you don't stay consistent with your marketing, then 12 weeks from now, you and we will be having this same conversation. So we want to stay consistent. Part of this that can really help you is, why not commit to a monthly reflection session? Give yourself some time and time block it in your diary once a month where you sit and look at your business. What is working? What's not working? What strategies you used that brought in clients? What did you try that didn't work so well? What areas of your business need a little bit of nurturing, and which ones can you push forward with to help your business grow? So find yourself half an hour to an hour of time in your diary once a month, put it in the diary, commit to it, and reflect on the business so you can refine it for growth. So as we're finishing off today, I implore you to have a think about what I've shared today and choose at least one of them to integrate into your business right now. I guarantee if you start taking these steps today, that in just a few weeks, you will start to see more clients coming in the doors. Now, remember, growing your client base, it's not about tactics. It's about cultivating relationships and cultivating a garden where these authentic relationships can bloom. Don't you love a gardening metaphor? There you go. So lastly, if you are looking for some help with this and you're looking to grow your business, bring in more clients, market the right way and get your messaging right, I actually have 2 spaces right now in my premium one-to-one mentoring, Create and Elevate, and I have a really special end of financial year offer on that. So I'm going to put a link in the show notes, but I do only have 2 spots at that price. So let's jump on a call and see if that's right for you. I would love to help you elevate your business and get you through this economic little downturn and back to prosperity and growth. So friends, thanks so much for joining me. If you enjoyed this episode, it would be great if you could leave a review. I read every single one of them. Please subscribe and share this episode with your friends. I'm sure someone in your network needs to hear it. So until next time, friends, stay true to you, stay true on your path. We can be authentic and we can still thrive. I look forward to seeing you next time. Have a great week.